055-556-1034. This conversation is not just between me and my guests, but you're also part of it. We'd like to hear what's on your mind this morning. My guests are Oscar Provençal, always going to be known as Mr. Kebediako, whether he likes it or not. Oscar, good morning. Good to have you here.
Morning, Kev.
All right.
Very well.
And Yao Anochi Frimpong, who's the lawyer and historian. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm fine.
Yes. Got some people ranting and talking about what's on their mind. What's on your mind this morning, Mr. Frimpong? I'll start with you.
On my mind is the Osafo statement to the effect that the Easterners and the Achem Buakwa people played a greater, better role in the independence struggle and questioned what role Ashanti played in the independence struggle.
Osafo being the senior minister?
The very senior minister, yes. It's something that has been on my mind for the past week.
Why?
Why? Because I believe that in Ghana politics, there is a very big tribal, that is to say, ethnic factor. And within MPP, it is so big and crucial. And I believe that people will have to be made to understand it. You see, when in 1947, the famous Gold Coast businessman, George Alfred Grant, otherwise known as Pa Grant, invited the famous lawyer, Dr. J.B. Dankwa, from Accra to his office in Sekondi and gave him the chance, huge money, to form a political party so that after his death, Africans, Ghanaians would not serve the white man. You know, this man went away, and what he did was that in selecting people to become the founders, fathers, leaders of the new party, which became known as the United Gold Coast Convention, you would see from history that cautiously J.B. Dankwa, being an Achem Ebuakwa man, selected almost everybody from Eastern region, with the exception of Akwaje, all because Akwaje was his bosom friend, a colleague lawyer, and then a member of the Legislative Assembly whom he knew already, and also from a smaller party that merged with the United Gold Coast Convention. All the rest came from Eastern region. Then the question is, did he not see Ashantis? Those days, Victor Usu, NYB, Adadijo Apia, and others. What about Fantis? What about Northerners? What about Votarians? Nobody, only Easterners. To the extent that there was even a vacuum for the position of General Secretary. Nobody would occupy. Until Akwaje brought the idea that he came across a Ghanaian in the UK called Kwame Nkrumah, who could fit into that job. Before I continue, let me tell you that he will do that because historically, Achems never liked the Ashantis. Ashantis never liked the Achems first because they have found that the greatest king of all time, Osei Tutu, was killed by the Achems. Less than a year later, the Ashantis reorganized under Poku Are and defeated the Achems comprehensively in the Arantan War. But they have never forgotten that embarrassment that the man was killed. They couldn't even find his body. And so J.B. Dankwa was not interested in bringing the domineering Ashantis, whose empire Achem became part of. And so when Kwame Nkrumah came to the scene, he was an Nzema man. And being an Nzema man, it meant that other tribes who could not fit into the UGCC circle saw him as an avenue within which to become political. No wonder we had Komla Agbeli, Bedema, Kojobo Tio, and others coming from different parts of the country. Now, Kwame Nkrumah also decided against the wish of the UGCC to organize the whole nation instead of the Akan people. And so all the northerners came in. And then the Ashantis will also pay back the Achims for what JB Dankwa had done. The Asantehene ensured that the powerful Ashanti Youth Association under Krobodise and Vito Wusu, RR and Ponsa will break and join Kwame Nkrumah in order to be able to form the Convention People's Party. So in fact, Ashantis played a role here in making Kwame Nkrumah what he became. Otherwise, coming from a small Nzima group, which even today hasn't got more than 3 constituencies, he wouldn't have become the sort of person he became. But Ashanti came forcefully behind him. And there is news circulating that it was Nkrumah who incarcerated an Achim chief called Oforiata and took the name Osajef. It's not true. It was Prempeh II Asantehene who gave the title Osajef to Kwame Nkrumah. And Prempeh Ashantis will be very happy to see an Nzima man as the first leader of Ghana, because tribally Nzimas are called Nzima Kotoko, Ashantis are called Nzima Ashanti Kotoko, and they were fighting together against their enemy Akim. And therefore, Asantehene would be interested in having Kwame Nkrumah as the first Prime Minister or President of Ghana, rather than an Achim man.
Somebody will be asking you, what is all this got to do with Mr. Osafumafu's comments?
Because, you see, when the Ashantis also broke away from CPP and formed the National Liberation Movement in 1954, JB Dankwa was alive, but they discarded him and put K.A. Buzia as the leader. Then in 1962, when they formed the Ghana Congress Party, Ashanti again ignored JB Dankwa and put the Buzia. With this, come 1969 election, Buzia was the prime minister. And then come 1979 election, the Third Republic, the Ashantis went behind Vito Wusu. And then the Achims also rallied behind Pawuli, William Oforiata. And the argument was that among the big 6, he was the surviving one. And so therefore, they should put him there instead of the younger Vito Wusu. With majority support, Vito Wusu won. But the Achims were with the United National Convention founded by Pawuli. And because of that split between the PFP, Popular Front Party, headed by Vito Wusu, and then United National Convention, headed by the Achiman, PNP under Dr. Hillel Liman easily won. So you see that they got angry. Then, under the current Fourth Republic dispensation, an Achiman, Professor Edubuahin, who was with the UNC, failed to clinch victory for MPP. Then comes an Ashanti man who won. And then after the Ashanti man comes an Achim man. As if to say that there has been a tacit agreement in MPP, or call it the UP faction, tradition, that when this man comes, and not this so other person, one Ashanti. Very good. And now the Ashantis are seeing conspicuously that Akufo-Addo is not willing to put there an Ashanti man. And when I say Ashanti man, everybody knows it. That is Alan Chematin, and it's rather giving support, you know, very conspicuous support to Bawumia.
Okay, so where does Mr. Osafumafu come in there?
So definitely he will be offended. He will be offended because he would have wished that Ashanti would be suppressed. And then because the Ashanti cry is becoming so pronounced that this time they want their man. So if Osafumafu is making this statement, I wouldn't be the first to condemn him. People should know that this is what is already happening. And in politics, everybody would want to outdo the other. And so if he's making this statement, he's trying to express the fact that the UP tradition, at least, was started by somebody called JB Dankwa. And in the beginning, Ashanti was with the CPP. And Ashanti too will come in to say that, but for us, UP tradition wouldn't have come to power because Ashanti, Achim is as small as Nzima, very, very small part. And it is Ashanti. Ashanti alone has about 45 constituencies. So Ashanti is made up of about 2-3 regions together. Part of Central region, the Asinde area, will always support Ashanti. And then now the Ahafo region. And then part of Bono, you understand? Then the Northern Volta. No, Ashanti is a power. And their brothers are the Dagomba and the Gunja people. They are a power. So they also believe that they have done a lot. But I will conclude by saying that looking at the tribal nature of the UP tradition and the fact that we call certain people big six, when in fact, looking it was only Kwame Nkrumah, the world knows, and then two, the one who brought Nkrumah to Ghana, Akwajen, you know, then you consider certain people as big six, and you put their effigies on the national currency without considering people who have done a lot for the country. Because if you take Kwame Nkrumah from those 6 people, leaving the other 5, what history have they made for the country?
We'll end on that rhetorical question and get a rant from Oscar too, if you have anything to rant
Oh,
about.
no, I can't.
No, we're talking about what's on your heart.
Forget
that's what's on his heart. What's on your heart that you really express?
That's a fantastic history lesson.
Yes.
History is always written by the victors.
Exactly.
But that's a great history lesson. My issue is with this SHS, Islamic SHS issue.
Yes.
And the commentary made by the police. And also, I think it's largely a lot to do with the media. As I said last week, these are very sensitive issues.
You were here to have made some Islamophobic comments.
Yes. I mean, I presume we all do it. I mean, I talk about my Ga people all the time. And every tribe basically has something we all talk about.
The dangerous thing is when you talk about another tribe and then they hear it.
Exactly.
And they record it.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
And that's what happened.
The police made some comments, not against, it wasn't even tribal comments, they were like religious comments. They said, these are, well, they were tribal too, because they said accounts wouldn't have
I want to look at it from a holistic point of view and not to allow the media to escalate it into something that will get out of control.
Yeah. But the police have been interdicted. Those comments have been interdicted, and so the police acted quite swiftly.
Absolutely, and we commend the police command and the hierarchy and the IGP for his movement. But I always want to look at things from a holistic point of view. Our media tends to blow things out of proportion sometimes, and these are very sensitive times, and we should always look inward. What can we learn from this? Is this a perception that is out there concerning that community? And I'm sure a lot of people will agree that that is the perception. Unfortunately, in Ghana, perception is far greater than reality. Everybody believes whatever is put out there.
It's a human thing.
So I think that we should be a bit more, circumspect, especially with the media. And these are very sensitive times, and I think that we should not play the religious card here between Christians and between Islam. We've been cohabiting this is the only country you see Muslims and Christians, and you've never heard of any problem between their communities, and I don't think that we should allow that to
Alrighty.
So I think for me that's the greatest concern. Off the back of what has happened, like I said last time in Nigeria, where you had students stoning their own fellow student and killing the person and setting them alight. So when I hear people saying that, well, they're only students, have you received a stone on your head before?
Your head will not distinguish between a stone thrown by a student or an adult.
And when you go to America, look at what has happened in their schools. Mass massacres by their own fellow students. So it's not an issue about
they're only
students. Okay. Now we should stop playing this, hypocritical game that is being played here in this country, and we should be holistic about, how we deal with issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. 2 great rants to kick off this morning, and I would love to hear from you on WhatsApp 055-556-1034. Oscar, not happy with this whole attempt to kind of play off Christians against Muslims. It doesn't sit well with our body politic as a nation. And then Mr. Frimpong looking at issues of tribal politics and contributions of ethnic groups to the development of this country. Is politics tribal in Ghana? Will it get better or worse? Would love to know from you. And this whole Christian-Muslim thing, media to be blamed? That's another question I'm putting out to you. 555561034. We'll continue with keep an eye, and Valerie is on the spot to bring us something fresh from her side of the studio. I'll take it away for keep an eye.
Thank you, Kaf. Hi, welcome to the site. And so we are taking you via technology to Cape Coast. We are going to the Jukwa bridge, I beg your pardon, where we have word that it has been repaired and reopened to the public. Our guy Alan is on standby to bring us exactly what the picture looks like and to speak to some people in the area as well. Good morning, Alan, from this side. What's happening on your side? What can you report?
Hi, good morning, Valerie. Welcome to Cape Coast, and thank you very much. If you're watching us this morning, we're coming to you live on #GTV Breakfast from Jukwa, a suburb in the central region. Jukwa happens to be on the main road from Cape Coast. So if you turn off the main Accra towards Cape Coast, you get to Paydu Junction. You turn towards Trifuka, so you go through Jukwa. It has a massive bridge which takes lots of traffic from not just smaller cars, but also trucks. And you will recall a few days ago, there was a heavy downpour. This bridge was inundated with water, and so a part of the bridge got washed away. Indeed, the part that got washed away was the part that connects the bitumen to the concrete of the bridge. And so I am coming close to it to give you a closer look at that. And so this is what it looks like. That is the bit of the concrete that connects to the bitumen. Because of the amount of water that went over the bridge, this was washed away. And so there was a truncation. And for that matter, commuters could not use the bridge as they would often do. And so it was temporarily closed off to traffic. It was there was a certain quick fix to
And that was a bit from Jukwa with Alan. We'll get back to him when we restore the lines, but in the meantime, I'm handing over to Kaf, and he's still discussing what's trending on online and newspaper portals, and generally bringing to your attention what needs to come to your attention. So, Kaf, back to you and the gentleman.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Valerie. We've got headlines I want to just throw by with you. Today, newspaper says Parliament warns absentee members. The current economy not good, Boachi Ejaku tells Akufo-Addo. Informer, cost of household electricity, Ghana ranked amongst cheapest. Daily analyst, judges debunk ex gratia claims. The new publisher, we've got Oforiata's hide and seek ends today. Finally faces Parliament to answer 16 urgent questions. I think I'm hiccuping too much. I must drink some a week. Thank you for the word so sweet and for the water. Ghanaian Times, 1,800 Ivorian refugees opt for home. Man jailed 14 years for posting woman's nude pictures on social media. Serves you right. Help developing countries out of COVID-19 devastation. Ghana's water quality generally unhealthy, says the Ghanaian Times. Let me start with the man who has been jailed 14 years for posting a woman's nude pictures on social media. Mr. Frimpong, so what kind of crime is this? Let me read a little bit of that. So a 22-year-old phone repairer has been sentenced to 14 years imprisonment for sharing intimate pictures of a Lebanese woman on social media. Solomon Dogan pleaded guilty to charges of sexual extortion and non-consensual sharing of intimate images and prayed to the court for forgiveness. Well, the judge was Mrs. Sedinam Awo Baloka. She convicted him on his plea and sentenced him to 12 years on the charge of sexual extortion and 2 years on the charge of non-consensual sharing of intimate messages. So the woman's name has been withheld, but what happened was that the complainant's driver sent her phone to Doga to unlock. So it's a phone repairer. He unlocked the phone and then went into the memory, saw her naked photos, and then he sent the pictures to the complainant and demanded money from her. So the complainant blocked his number when she realized that he wanted to blackmail her. After that, Doga went ahead and splashed the complainant's naked photos on Facebook and Messenger. And according to prosecution, a few minutes after Doga had posted the photos, people started complaining to the complainant that her nude pictures were all over social media. He was arrested, taken to court, and dealt with. He has 14 years.
Yes, simply this is, I mean, in a layman's language, we'll call it breach of privacy. And therefore, the young man would have to pay for that. But you see, when we are talking about this issue, I believe that it will bring to mind, I believe it brings to mind the issue of this woman who has become famous, or if I should say infamous, in Ghana, with reference to such nudity. Is it called Abena Koko or something?
Yes.
Yes, this is something of national importance, because this lady, I've seen some of the nude pictures myself, and I know that a lot of people have seen it. You know, goes naked, puts it viral. Now, this is a person who thinks about what she is about to do and is able to do it, and also knows the outcome of it. The 3 steps. She knows those men who sleep with her. She knows those who perform better than others. She knows how much they give her and where and when. But when it comes to whether she should stand for prosecution for these things, then she raises her hands up that I'm sick, I'm an unfit subject for punishment. The disease is called what?
Bipolar disorder.
And she's the only person who knows the definition of that bipolar, that you put your effigies on YouTube, you make money out of that. See, by law, this woman has completely demeaned and discredited Ghanaian womanhood completely. And I'm surprised that we have so many women groups. We have judges like the one you mentioned, and nobody says anything. I know there's an NGO called World Peace Volunteers.
Does she not have to be reported before something can happen?
Very good. An NGO called World Peace Volunteers almost a month ago reported the conduct of this lady to the police, and to date, nothing has been done about it. But this one, the Abena Koko issue, is even worse than that of the lady called Akwapim Polo. Akwapim Polo, they do not go 100% naked. And she said, it's my birthday. The mistake she made was that she said it was a birthday either for herself or the child. If she had rather said it's a bipolar, then she could have done anything and gotten away with it. You see, in law, if you want to say you are insane, you don't say it outside court. You are brought before court. And when the judge sees from the statement from the prosecution, the charge sheet, that you are suffering from any form of insanity, then it is the duty of the judge to make an order for you to be medically examined, and after that the report will be brought back. And if it is true that this lady is suffering from something called bipolar, which she has no control of, then the court will make an appropriate order for her upkeep and for her treatment, instead of allowing her to go berserk against the whole nation. That's my comment.
Thank you so much. A quick follow-up on this particular case of this man who has been jailed for posting the woman's nude pictures. By law, can you take nude pictures of yourself and keep them on your phone in Ghana?
Yes, if it is of yourself and it is not going anywhere, then it is not obscene and it is not indecent exposure.
I can strip and take a video of myself and keep it on my phone.
If it is going anywhere, it is as good as saying that you haven't done anything.
The moment it goes somewhere.
The moment it goes, another person sees it, then it becomes public. So public is where more than one person comes in.
What about if I send it to my wife?
your wife, yes, that is an intimate communication between you and your wife, and it is protected by law. It is protected by law. It is only when an intruder grabs it and then makes use of it, then that person becomes an offender. So this person, the Lebanese woman, for example, possibly was doing something between her good self and her husband or her children, no problem. But when a third party who is uninvited intrudes to do what he did, the law comes in.
What about if they agree to publish these videos?
If they agree, then the woman consented, then she would have been prosecuted as well. Because that offense,
under what offense?
I'm saying it's obscene. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for that.
Indecent exposure.
Indecent exposure. Thank you very much for that education. Oscar,
I think you used the word publish. Let's not forget that we have a law against pornography. So it is the moment it crosses that line and doesn't become personal and it becomes public, you have now breached that law. So it is about publishing that work, or that image of yourself or somebody else. It is in the publishing of it into the public space that you breach the law. So, you know, no matter how much you plead insanity, you still breach the law. I believe, lawyer, so because you made a statement that, you know, if you send it to your wife, then no, and then there's no law.
Say it's an intimate communication.
Yeah, between the two of you.
Yes, but when you send it,
put it on your
WhatsApp platform. You know, because you send it via WhatsApp into a reasonable public space. Once you publish it, once it leaves your phone to another, it is therefore deemed to be public. And I stand for correction, but that's my understanding of the law. And we still have the pornography, you know, but these laws are, I suppose, I don't know, I can say whether they're outdated or they need to be reviewed to some degree. There's a whole pornographic industry in America.
Ghana, yes, sir.
Even in Ghana.
Oh, yes.
They're making pornographic videos here in Ghana.
You have all kinds of things going on. If you know, you know.
Well, we know, but what is the law doing about it? You know, and we see a lot of it also on our TV networks. You know, we've had a couple of incidents where TV stations have been, you know, showing graphic, pornographic or sexual in trying to say they're educating Ghanaians about, you know, sex. But it is pure pornography. So the institutions that should be, you know, handling these things, are they handling them? Are they deterring people from breaking the law, and institutions, broadcast houses from breaking the law?
Good question.
And I think that's something as a conversation we need to have, you know.
Mr. Rumpong, has the law caught up with the modernity of you know, now it's so easy to take a photo, a video, and then well, keep it on your phone, and then somebody goes and unlocks it, and all of a sudden they see these photos. And has the law really caught up with these offenses? Have you handled cases like this before, indecent exposure cases?
Personally, no, but I believe that all in all, when you are able to protect it and it is within a certain circle, you know, fully protected, then you are also protected. But if you are not able to handle it and then it goes out, then it becomes, as my colleague says, published. You know, to publish something is to make known something, you know, to evangelize something. Okay. So if it is not to yourself or within a certain classified group, which also forms part of the restriction, the circle, then it becomes an offense. If you make it go outside, it is an offense. Okay. And I believe that if the law has not done anything on it, it is simply because nobody has taken the interest to report one who has done it, like the Abena Koko issue. But in the case of the Aquapim Polo, you saw that as soon as it was reported, the state did something about it. And in the case of this young man, you see that the state has taken an action.
But you want some action to be taken against her?
Yes, in her own interest, not that I hate her. Because if she knows that she is sick and is not able to solve her own problems, I believe that under the Constitution, it is her fundamental right to health, and that the state will have to come in to assist her. And if it is not true, that is the other side of the coin. If it is not true and she's deceiving the whole nation, then she will be able to face justice so that other people would not model her.
If she were to turn up into the studio this morning, what kind of conversation would you have with her?
First of all, I will have great sympathy for her. Such a very pretty, and when you hear her talking, you see that exceptionally intelligent. Going through that, I believe that I would wish that if she were here, I would appeal to the whole nation to find a way of assisting her, and that's why I'm making this statement. And then number two, find out from her if at any time that she is undressing, she's unconscious of herself. If she's unconscious of herself, then she will always need an aid, you know,
to put the clothes back on.
Very good. To say that, please don't do this, don't do that. You understand?
Put on clothes. Mr. Frimpong, thank you so much for your comments.
It borders on mental health issues.
Yeah, mental health, yes.
You know, which
and she is an advocate for mental health,
which are serious.
Yes, yeah.
Which are serious issues, and it's true. I mean, I haven't heard any women groups up in arms or, you know, coming to her assistance or making an issue of it.
Why do you think that is so?
Maybe there's a certain underlying anger, and because number one, she's within the celebrity framework, you know, in the space here in Ghana, we are not taken very seriously, and it just seems to be a long string of excuse me to say, stupidity that has been you know, normalized by our creative space, and Ghanaians seem to enjoy, somehow seem to enjoy all of this, and so they're also playing to the gallery, and unfortunately it ties in with the monetization, you know, so people are willing to do anything, you know, to make the bucks. And it's sad because many of us are trying to reverse this perception of the creative space and its you know, players as being people who, you know, have absolutely nothing in their heads, and all they can get up to is concert and absolute nonsense. And it's a pity. And so, like a lawyer is saying, I mean, if she needs help, she should, you know, Ghanaians should rally around. Like he said, very intelligent lady, and so we should rally around and see how to get her the best help. I think it's been done for others.
Yes,
it can also be done for her.
Okay, you're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. My guests are Oscar Provençal, who just spoke, and then Anachi Frimpong, and we're looking at the issues of the day. Your comments are coming in on 05555561034. The WhatsApp message board is buzzing, but there are two press releases that I'd like to share with you, and they all have to do with this building, which has been at the center of conversations for quite some time. One is coming from the Attorney General's office, and the other is coming from the office of the National Cathedral. So here come the statements that I'll be reading for you in a short while, and so here we go. So we're looking at, for the first one, we're looking at the status, I believe, of the National Cathedral. So there's been some speculation, and this is coming from the, let's see. So this is coming from, I believe it's coming from the National Cathedral Secretariat, I believe. Okay. National Cathedral and Matters Arising Addendum. It's a press release, June 21, which was yesterday. Introduction. The attention of the Secretariat of the National Cathedral of Ghana has been drawn to another set of accusations relating to the private registration of the National Cathedral of Ghana, the omission of two of the trustees from the registration, and accusations about payments to a Ghanaian artist, Sonny Badu. The memo responds to these and is an addendum to the June 17 press release. So, private or publicly owned company. On 29th July 2021, a letter from the Secretariat of the National Cathedral, signed by me, and me is referring to the CEO of the organization. So a letter signed by him was sent to the Attorney General to seek clarity on the legal status of the National Cathedral. This was a follow-up to the advice of the Attorney General that the most effective framework for operationalizing the partnership envisaged by the President was to register the National Cathedral as a company limited by guarantee, with the Museums and Monuments Board, a government agency, as the sponsoring agency. 3. In response to my letter, the Attorney General, in a letter dated 6 Jan 2022, provided the legal opinion which I produced extensively below. So, in a letter titled Clarification of Legal Status of National Cathedral Foundation and the National Cathedral Construction Project, with reference to C21/SF.14, the Attorney General writes inter alia, it is noted that on the 18th July 2019, the National Cathedral of Ghana was incorporated under the Companies Act 1963 as a company limited by guarantee. The National Cathedral of Ghana is therefore a company limited by guarantee, with its sole corporate member being the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, a government agency. By its registration documents, the principal activities of the National Cathedral are the following. 1. To own the assets of the National Cathedral of Ghana. 2. To administer the National Cathedral of Ghana. 3. To serve as a convening platform for national conversations on faith. And 4. To operate an interdenominational church for national purposes. I'll be done pretty soon. 5. It is clear from the above listed activities of the National Cathedral of Ghana that it is a non-profit making organization. Since the sole member is a government agency, the National Cathedral of Ghana is a state-owned non-profit making organization. That's the emphasis there. Any income generated and income and property acquired by the National Cathedral are thus required to be reinvested and used for promoting its non-profit activities. We are therefore of the opinion that the National Cathedral is a state-owned company limited by guarantee, since its sole corporate member is the Ghana Museums Board. The incorporation of the National Cathedral of Ghana as a private company owned by the state, with the Museum and Monuments Board as its sole corporate member, reflect and affirm the National Cathedral's character as a national monument and hence a public project. And now we have the composition of the board of directors. The directors of the state-owned company, the National Cathedral of Ghana, are Ofosu Ntiamwa Kingsley, who is the acting director of the Museums and Monuments Board, and he is the corporate. So he represents the Museums and Monuments Board. Then you have Reverend Opoku Onyina, who is on the Board of Trustees. The remaining names are all members of the Board of Trustees. Archbishop Charles Gabriel Palmer Bako, Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Archbishop Justice Ofe Akrufi, Most Reverend T.K. Awatri Pratt, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong Manso, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, and Most Reverend Samuel Asante Entry. Now, there's an issue on the omission of 2 trustees for the Board of Directors. So the omission of these 2 trustees, namely Reverend Professor Cephas Omenyo and Bishop Doug Hayward Mills on the Board of Directors, is due to the following reasons. So Reverend Professor Cephas Omenyo, the immediate past moderator of the Presidential Church of Ghana, has been indisposed since 2018, I believe, and so could not register. He is yet to be formally placed as a member of the Board of Trustees by the President. Bishop Doug Hayward Mills' registration materials, which are the Secretariat, came in after the registration as he had traveled out of the country. Secretariat is awaiting the replacements of Reverend Cephas Omenyo and the late Chairman, Most Reverend Asante Entry, to the Board of Trustees. Once these replacements are made by the President, there will be a board resolution to add their names, and that of Bishop Doug Hayward Mills. Okay. While he's yet to be added to the registered Board of Directors, Bishop Doug Hayward Mills remains a very committed member and active member of the National Cathedral Board of Trustees. Now, payment to Sonny Badu, which was all over the rage, was all the rage yesterday. There are reports about the payment of $50,000 to the singer Sonny Badu for his performance at the launch of the National Cathedral fundraising in Washington, D.C. in February 8, 2019. The Secretariat of the National Cathedral has not paid any money, neither is it aware of any such payment to Sonny Badu. Conclusion. Following my June 17, 2022 press release, our expectation was to begin a process of rationalizing the discussions on the National Cathedral. Concretely, our expectation was that issues would be directed to the National Cathedral Secretary for clarification. These expectations have not changed, and the National Cathedral Secretariat still remains committed to an open and transparent process of communication to advise this. Please direct all requests for information to the Executive Director at the National Cathedral Secretariat. They've given his email address, executive.director@nationalcathedralghana.org. Telephone number is there. It's a public document, 0246-273-241. In the service of God and country, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, Executive Director, National Cathedral of Ghana. Very long, but basically seeking to explain the legal status of the National Cathedral, Mr. Frimpong, as well as some payments that was supposed to be made to Sonny Badu, the musician, concerning some performance at the launch. What do you make of this document, Mr. Frimpong?
Well,
on the status of it, that it is a non-profit organization, and the owner is virtually the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, and so it's a non-profit but owned by the government. Is there such an animal in law?
Definitely. There are so many non-profit organizations owned by the state. In fact, any state entity whose name ends authority, generally does not make profit. Authority. When it's a corporation, they make profit, all right, but when it's authority and then service, they normally do not make any profit, but they render very important service on behalf of the state. My worry is that since this organization has been said to have been incorporated as a state entity, then the whole idea should have been brought before Parliament and debated upon whether the nation needs an entity called the National the National Cathedral. The matter was not brought before Parliament, and so therefore you will see that it was the singular idea of the government trying to, if I should put it this way, impose it upon us. Because when you read the objects of the organization, you can see that it is not going to play any role in society which would benefit Ghanaians at this time. One of the objects is that it's going to organize interdenominational...
Let me read the objects for you.
Yes,
Number one, so the proposed activities of the National Cathedral of Ghana are the following. 1, to own the assets of the National Cathedral of Ghana. 2, to administer the National Cathedral of Ghana. 3, to serve as a convening platform for national conversations on faith. 4, to operate an interdenominational church for national purposes. And those are the four things.
Do we not already have a platform for discussing faith? We have the National Peace Council there. We have the Christian Council of Ghana. We have the Muslim one. And then we have the Association of Seventh-day Churches. And then the charismatic groups, the Pentecostal groups. And everybody is also supposed to operate under the law of the Republic of Ghana. Are you saying that from 1957 to date, Ghana has had religious crisis? The answer is no. We have had political crisis. The country has not had any religious crisis to make anybody put up such an entity. And there, if it is an organization to help do jojo for religious or faith, how come you put up people belonging to only one faith, if I should put it that way? The names that we heard, you can say, yes, Christian, and even Christian, it is narrow and parochial. You don't hear about the Seventh-day Adventists minister on it, the Jehovah Witnesses, and other groups. What about the Hindus, the Buddhists, and the traditionalists? Because Ghana started as a traditional country. I would say that Christianity, I'm a Christian. But Christianity was imported. It was brought by the colonial masters as part of their activities here. Our fathers and mothers knew God long before these people came in. If they ever say Mau, and then I can say Unyame. These are not English words or French words
at all.
They are Ghanaian words. So if you want to do something which is interfaith, fine. Why don't you incorporate everybody? And even there, that work can be done by the National House of Chiefs. It can easily be done by the National House. And then too, what do you call it? the advisory body to the president. What do you call
Council of State.
The Council of State. They can handle all these things. But if at this time that our president travels to Brussels to tell the whole world that Africa is suffering as a result of COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war, is the time that you are spending close to $1 billion, and you will see that it will hit $1 billion on national cathedral. Then it becomes a misplaced priority. Misplaced priority. The nation doesn't need it. Nobody has ever said, and even in his own manifesto, he didn't say that was something we needed. In his manifesto, the things he said, yes, free education, because he knew we needed it. One district, one dam. He knew we needed it for agricultural purposes. One district, one for. He knew we needed it for what do you call it? One village, one dam, and then one district, one factory to create employment. What about the smuggling in of a national cathedral? And
one cathedral, one Ghana.
Then one district, one cathedral, so that they can handle interfaith dialogues.
So you're not convinced by this statement?
No, I think that it's a misplaced priority, even though it's a bit too late now to talk about it. And I'm surprised that those beautiful names we had, when they were assembled, none of them was able to advise the president, because we know that the president is human. There is nothing like presidential infallibility. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like presidential infallibility. But the moment he brought them together, made his idea known to them, I believe they should have advised that in terms of religion, Ghana hasn't got the stage that we would need a national cathedral.
Do you think the Council of State should have played a role in this whole business?
I believe that the Council of State should have, and even it's not too late, since no construction has been done, the money can be channeled into other things, and it's not late. If the Council of State hearing us this morning would intervene, and I believe Ghanaians would love that, because I am one of those who think that when you are standing for a president, you are telling people that you are capable, and then you are giving the cabinet, district chief executive, whatever, to work with. You don't need a Council of State. They don't play anyway, because you have your own financial advisors and then economic advisors, military, everybody there to assist you. Institutions are already there. And so when you again have Council of State in the Constitution, any serious president at this time would treat the Council of State just as the Chief Justice has treated the regional tribunals. In the Constitution, there should have been a regional tribunal to work side by side with the High Court. But the Chief Justice has put that away.
What should we do with the Council of State if they were left to you?
Immediately you freeze it up. Taking, as Tobo Afende has made us to know, taking SGH for doing what work? What work is the Council of State doing when which cabinet, the president's cabinet cannot do?
They are counseling the president.
In what way? To build national cathedrals, to leave Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the second largest hospital in Africa, to get inundated. This morning we had the Jukwa Road. You understand? The entire Western Corridor Road inundated, and we don't have the resources to work on that. School children learning under trees, so that from May to July they cannot have their classes. And these fine names, Pamabakel and all others, sit down to say we need a national cathedral. I believe that we need a change of mind, a change of heart, and a change of idiosyncrasy that the nation can move on.
So they should freeze the Council of State?
Number one entity that should be frozen immediately. And when they freeze, you see, it's like, let's say if you freeze ECG, you will not see power here. If you freeze Ministry of Education, every child will be sitting at home. When you freeze Council of State, ask me, what will be the change in the country?
There will be no Council of State.
And so what will be the effect? No adverse effect. Rather, the nation will make a lot of money to be spent on our children, buy whatever, beds for the hospitals, to buy desks for our school children.
But you're not privy to the kind of advice they give the president.
I don't need to be privy to the advice. What I'm privy to is the open exercise of presidential functions, which I'm seeing to some extent is being mismanaged here or there.
So a freeze?
Frozen, yes.
It's not even a freeze, it's frozen. Let you, Oscar. So you heard from the National Cathedral Secretariat, they said, listen, the National Cathedral is a non-profit making entity owned by the state because the owner is actually the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, and it's not paying any $50,000 to you're a man of the arts. I mean, what do you think about this?
First and foremost, I think that, you know, the way this, I don't know, I'll call it a scandal or whatever, is playing out, begs to speak about the way things are being communicated by this government.
So you think it's a communication issue?
There's a major communication issue from e-levy to you name it. Whoever is responsible for the communication of all of these issues, there has, I mean, for me, it's a complete debacle. And now we have the cathedral chief executive also stepping out, and I think it's rather than compounding issues and bringing all kinds of issues up. I can understand the sentiments that have been raised by lawyer. I personally don't have an issue with the National Cathedral, but I believe we must follow due process. So yes, if this is a national cathedral, yes, it should have gone to Parliament. Yes, it should have gone through all the processes. At this particular time, is this the right timing for it in the midst of all this crisis and the needs that we have for this country? That's another question we have to ask ourselves. And when you look at, especially Kolebu, I am surprised to date that Kolebu is not the #1 hospital in this country. And then we have to struggle day in and day out and hear so much negative news about Kolebu. So the needs are so much. And I think that one thing I can say about this government to some extent is that, or the president, that maybe he's a listening president. I've seen our society stand up against certain things that have come up and action has been taken. You know, if this is the time for the review of this national cathedral, and in lawyers' words, put a freeze to it for the moment, then it is, I think that maybe the president has to look at it. It is a promise to God, yes, but obviously it is causing a lot of disquiet. And I just feel very sad for this president who, as far as I'm concerned, should have been such an iconic president for, and the kind of, you know, when I look at him in terms of inspiration, somebody who has tried to become a president, he's gone through two or three attempts. For young people, this should be an example of following your dreams. Perseverance. You know, preparation. Has he been prepared? Yes, he's prepared himself. Has he brought transformational policies to this country? You mentioned one district, one factory. I mean, if we had been doing that for over 20 years, look at the number of factories we've had in this country. You know, all of these things are transformational. But it's getting swallowed up, and unfortunately, Mr. President, your legacy will not look good at this juncture. And you know, when you look at former President Mahama and the NDC government, they prided themselves on infrastructure. We've done so much infrastructure. If that was enough, they should have been re-elected. And so the president should not kid himself. All of the good things he has done, and he's not running for re-election, so that's not, but it's more about his legacy. Okay. And you will find out that at the end of the day, there will be so many issues that will override the good that you've done. Right. And your legacy, as far as I'm concerned, may be in jeopardy. And if you think it's free SHS, that is your trump card for legacy, Ghanaians, like the delegates. Fear them.
Fear delegates. Words of counsel from a person, somebody who is not on the Council of State, but he's on my Council of State right here. Oscar Professor Mr. Yano Shifrimpong. Your messages, I know you are thinking, Kafu, why are you not reading our messages? Kafu, why? I'll be reading your messages, but not now. We're going to Jukwa, because our man, Alan, is standing by, and when he finishes with this report, we shall get your messages for you, all right? We'll read as many as possible, all right? Alan, take it away. You are watching GTV Breakfast. What can you report for us?
Hi, thank you very much, Kafi, for coming back. So from where we cut off, the bridge, having been inundated with the water, obviously broke away from the concrete. And so basically what we have currently is a situation where the quick fix obviously didn't do as much to salvage the situation for commuters. And so you have a truck, a heavy duty truck loaded with what I am told may be pure water, trying to go through the temporary structure, and it got stuck from last night. And so if you look up from behind it, you have about a good number of tracks, about 9-10 odd of them, all waiting to go through. But because this one has been stuck since last night, nothing could be done, and so they have to wait. They may either find alternative routes, or they may have to wait until such a time when this truck is helped out of this situation. The assembly member for the area just spoke to me and said it's been handed over to the police, and the police have assured him that they're bringing a tow truck to come and help tow this truck out of the situation where it finds itself currently. What we would beg of commuters coming off the main Accra Cape Coast Road, going through Chifupraso, and therefore will have to come through Jukwa, to exercise a certain restraint, possibly find other alternative routes to make their way through to Chifupraso and beyond, if that is where they have to go. Because the current state of this bridge is nothing to write home about. I am also told the contractor who did the temporary fix has been recalled and is on his way as I speak to you now. A minute ago, we were told he's in somewhere around Dunkwao and making his way towards us at Jukwa. Hopefully, he should be here as soon as possible, or time enough to get this restored, so that traffic would be restored and commuters will have to use this end of town will come back to using their road. Indeed, it won't be a permanent fix, given that a part of the bridge has been washed away. It would be also, and there will be a need to close it off completely in order to fix it or restore it to normal use. This so far is the situation with the washed away Jukwa Bridge, and commuters are once again advised to find alternative routes instead of using the same road to get to where they want to go. Thank you very much, Kafui, for coming to us. This has been #GTV Breakfast. As always, this has been your servant, Alan Darrell Tendo, your chief labor.
Champion Darrell. Oh, thank you so much. Reporting to us from Jukwa on that bridge that has been restored. Your message is coming up quickly, but just before I get the messages, I'm looking at the president calling for an end to the Russia-Ukraine war. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has appealed to world leaders to help end the Russia-Ukraine war. He observed that the war is having a heavy toll on African countries and their citizens, particularly given the aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic and its devastating effects on world economies. So he made this appeal when he attended this year's European Union Development Days conference in Brussels, Belgium. Quote, indeed, the recent United Nations report estimates that about 70% of Africa's economies are at severe risk of the Russian war in Ukraine. In the midst of this, 18 African economies have experienced credit downgrades, even when all African economies are suffering from last year's pandemic. And we in Africa are also facing the risk of the so-called tantrums as investors exit in our markets, thereby exacerbating the increasing cost of borrowing. And he continues by saying, at this moment, the World Bank tells us that as a subsequence of the conflict, the number of poor people in sub-Saharan Africa could rise from 413 million to 463 million this year, an increase of 50 million people getting poorer as a result of this. And he's basically appealing to world leaders to help end end the Russia-Ukraine war. Mr. Anochi Frimpong, worthy appeal or not necessary?
I believe that it is completely unnecessary. And it is also very dangerous because Ghana is a non-aligned country. As Nkrumah said, we neither face east nor west. We face forward. And when the man who made that statement attempted to involve himself in a world crisis, I mean a crisis between two superpower countries in China, Hanoi, you know, in February 1966, everybody knows what happened to his government. You know, I do not think that if there is war between Russia and Ukraine, the president of Ghana, and for that matter Africa, should make any comment. First of all, you have to go to the history of the Russian people. Less than 3 weeks ago, the president of Russia made it very clear that he was comparing himself with their 17th century leader, 18th century, Peter the Great.
The emperor.
You know, the emperor. Peter the Great, what did he do? He came to expand, crush the Ottoman Empire, and then expand Russia to the east. He took 21 full years to fight Sweden and crush the Swedish Empire, and then brought Russia to the west and westernized Russia. So that should tell you that when Russians sit down and aim at something, they don't ever go back. You can remember the Napoleonic War, where Napoleon was defeated in Siberia, Russia, and then the Second World War, what they did to the Nazis. You know, when they have their own plan, they would ensure they have concluded it to the letter. And what is their plan here? Implicitly from what Putin was saying, Russia's aim is completely to dissolve Ukraine and make it part of Russia.
It's like dropping sugar into hot water and the sugar disappears.
Completely, that is the aim. So it means that for as long as he has not achieved that, there will never be an end to that war. Then the aim of the West, that is NATO, since they started supplying arms to Ukraine, they would never want the war to end, because when it ends, psychologically they have been defeated. So this is not a war that is going to end today or tomorrow. And it doesn't take Africa or President Akufo-Addo to go there and say that you should use dialogue. Are you saying Ukraine and Russia, NATO and the UN especially, they don't know what is dialogue? Have they not tried it? Has it worked? Rather, you should know what the two want. The whole West is behind Ukraine, and Russia wants to prove to the world that it is stronger than any country on earth now.
So briefly, what should be Ghana's response?
What should be our response, which is the best question from you this morning, is that Diwufiasem, as a former president of this country said, Diwufiasem. You see, you are talking about two countries, Russia and Ukraine, that control the export of about 30% of the whole world's cereal. Ghana does not import cereal from Russia or Ukraine. And so if you think that the loss of cereal is creating any problem for your economy, my brother, go to Volta region. You have plenty lands from Sogakope upwards. Go to Sogakope, very good. Now central region, Winneba up to western region, plenty lands. Go to Bono from Techiman to the north. So instead of coming back to the National Cathedral, money to establish the National Cathedral, putting $500 million US into agriculture, and in less than 1 year, you would not imagine any war called Russia-Ukraine war, because you will be self-sufficient, at least in food production. Come to oil. Ghana doesn't import oil from Russia. We have our sister country, Nigeria. They have oil, they have gas. And it doesn't cost us much to get oil from Nigeria. So why do you go there and cry wolf, when in fact we don't depend on Russia for oil or gas? We don't depend on Ukraine for Syria or anything. But back to it, I believe that we would have to begin to think deep into it, because if it is genuine, as the president is saying and other African countries are saying, that we are losing a lot as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war, and from the scenario I'm giving you, the war is not going to end within the next 2, 3, or 4 years. Is the president going to go about crying instead of finding alternative solutions? And we have the solution here: plenty land, for agriculture. General Champions time, Operation Feed Yourself. The first time in the history of Africa that somebody ruled from 1972 to about 1978 without foreign assistance.
So we should just look back
and
our own
still
history.
we were exporting. And the Magufuli, Tanzania, has proved it recently to Africa.
So do you
just do and everything will be okay for you. You don't have to jump there to involve yourself, especially where Zelensky has made a statement that Africa is starving because of the Russia-Ukraine. Why should he make that statement? Who told him that we are starving? Rather, he should ask our leaders that we are fighting. Don't bring our names into your very good when you are failing. Don't use our name as an excuse, like the Russian ambassador told the government of Ghana. Don't use us as an excuse. Depend on yourself. What about Russia-Ukraine war ends today, and next time it is Canada-US war? So it means Africa will continue to starve. Then England, Scotland. No.
No, but yes to Jay Gabra, because we need to go out there and find out what he's doing. We'll go to Jay and we'll come back to Oscar, who is itching to talk, and we'll get your messages. So Jay Gabra is keeping an eye on a couple of things. Jay, good morning. Welcome to the show. Where are you? Update us.
Thank you so much, Kafi. Good morning and welcome to the Animal Research Institute here in Frafraha in the Greater Accra region. Now on Monday, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Harry Quartey, who also doubles as the chairman of the Regional Security Council, gave a 48-hour ultimatum to encroachers on this land to they vacate the premises. All the buildings will be demolished. So this morning we arrived here, the Keep an Eye team arrived here to monitor the development, and upon arrival we can tell you that the demolition exercise is currently ongoing. There are a lot of security agencies here, including the military, and you see, if you have the benefit of the eye in the sky, you notice that the current demolition exercise which is ongoing. A lot of people here have lost their properties, and if you look around, you realize that they've had to vacate their premises completely, and then the bulldozer is also at work making sure the buildings are coming down. I just want to so with the benefit of the eye, you see the household now who is also lost their property just sitting down there. I can just imagine the kind of devastation or the thought process going through their mind right now. It's like to wake up this morning and just find out that your house is just gone. Yeah, so after several warnings over the years to get encroachers off the site, this is what the situation is this morning. So true to this, where the regional minister and the security forces are here to ensure that the encroachers here leave the site. I have one gentleman here whose building was demolished this morning. I just want to get his thoughts briefly. Sir, good morning, welcome.
Yeah, fine morning. My name is Kailani Ibrahim Pa.
Sorry?
Kailani Ibrahim Pa.
Okay, is this your house?
This is my brother's house.
Okay, so what happened?
We just got a call that my brother's house has been demolished. So we just came here to witness. You understand? To witness what is going on. So what is going on is very bad, and it's very scary. It's very scary because no job, nothing. You understand? For the youth and for the country. You understand? But imagine putting up such expensive building, and just 1 second, 1 day, it has been demolished. And it was not built in 1 month or 2 months or 1 year or 5. No, it took years. But at least 48 hours is too small. Yeah.
So hold on, before you acquired the land, how did you get permits to even build over here?
This question, okay, look at this. Come and look at this. Look at this. Who put up this? Who put up this?
Okay.
Who put up this? Is not the government gave this. Who put up this? Is it not the government? The government doesn't know that this is a wrong place for somebody to acquire building, and he came and put this thing. So we have to be real to ourselves. We believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. What happened as a Muslim, we believe it's God. You understand? But I know if it's a real Muslim who is the regional minister, who will never do this. These stupid
Hold on. These lands belong to the Animal Research Institute, which is just ahead. I hear this side is for them. You're not supposed to build over here. So if you have been given permission to build, maybe you should have done investigations to find out if you can build on this side, so that this unfortunate incident wouldn't have happened. Don't you think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Before we build, we bought it from the chiefs. You understand? And you can see the plain lands here, and you can see the building out here. So you decide for yourself, and you know that what's going on. It's like, I just don't know what to say.
But hold on. Aside the 48-hour warning, like over the course of the years, have they come to you and said you shouldn't build here, you should go?
No, we never have any notice that we shouldn't build here.
Except the 48 hours.
48 hours. At least, even 3 months, at least 2 months, then we will get prepared. You understand? So what's going on here is very scary.
Yeah, so you notice there are a lot of people who are standing by, you know. Yes, looking at the permit which is in front of the building, there's a street address here. Which assembly is this one?
Adenta.
Okay, so from the Adenta municipality, which allowed them to build over here, because the street address system is here, so you know that it's legal, it's a legal structure and everything. If you scan the code and everything, you know that this is actually his residence. Yes.
We use this one to do our Ghana card too as well.
You use this to do your Ghana card?
Yeah, that's what we used to in our Ghana card.
Okay, so it's a lot of confusion, and the sentiments running here. It's quite sad because it looks like it's legal for them. Unfortunately, they are encroaching on somebody else's site. This is not the first time the Animal Research Institute has tried to get people to come off their site. In fact, over the years, they acquired a loan to fence the entire area, at least what's left of the original land that was bequeathed to them. But in 2014, the institute even went to court and obtained the writ of possession to evict encroachers from the land. Unfortunately, that exercise didn't see fruition. So what the encroachers have done to us is continuously undermine the purpose and function of this institute. So I believe this morning, the chairman of the Regional Security Council, Henry Korte, the Greater Accra Regional Chairman, flew to his word, is demolishing the buildings that he feels are encroaching on the Animal Research Institute. So this is not why it was established in the first place. So for this morning, the kind of demolition that is going on, for keep an eye. This is what we have for you so far, Kafi. We are just monitoring the developments here in the area.
The 48 hours elapsed, and as the regional minister promised, buildings are going down, and so that's this are the CSIR ARI Animal Research Institute built structures on those plots of land which are not supposed to be there, and they are coming down. And so we'll keep an eye on that and give you more. You check out our Facebook page for videos and stories concerning this particular issue. Yeah, that's it. If you do the wrong thing, it's not a matter of you begging or anything. You get punished. There are so many, but I'll read a couple of them. Good morning. As for Ghana, every day our leaders should please wear our shoes some and know how it feels. National Cathedral is a priority. These trustees should be frozen. There's no stadium in Upper Region, and we are managing the Ghana Economic Property Owning leaders. Good morning to all of you, and especially the lawyer. Good morning. Have more messages. Breakfast show is very, very educated. Mr. Frimpong, may Allah increase your knowledge and truth. Indeed, the National Cathedral is a misplaced priority. God bless you. Ghana structures, lots of issues. If citizens of institutions which are supposed to act are not performing, they must be restaffed. Ethics, and he's talking about sensitization, money, business, what people understand about RTI. There's a lot there. Kaf, I'm so glad the way your panelists are arguing out on the issue of the National Cathedral, especially the one in the blue-black. Ghana has colors of blue-black. Which one to be blue-black? That navy blue, eh? Building a cathedral based on lies, deception, and corruption is totally unacceptable, and Jesus Christ will not be happy with us. Kaf, all of this explanation is coming out today because they've been exposed big time. I agree with the lawyer. Let's look at the cathedral project again. Please, there's no evidence that Nama is supported by Bawumia. Please come with evidence. Okay, all right. Himil, there are certain things that are spoiling of Ghana. It's important the law works to wash away these things. Oh, good morning, Mr. Nochi. Sure. You're intelligent. Continue to preach the history of Ghana. God bless you. You're my countryman. And I want to see. I'm also his countryman. I'm from Ghana. Good morning. The man is talking about Keep the messages short. And you think that you're trying to divide the NPP into Ashantis and Achim, but let's not forget that Kufuor is Asante and Akufo-Addo is Achim, but this type of politics is no more again. Please give us way. Do you think that our politics is still based on ethnic groups, tribal issues? I want to know. I am Mr. Buga. I like your program. What's the name of the man who spoke on the Osafo Mafo issue? You want to follow him on Facebook. Lawyer, are you on Facebook? What's your name on Facebook?
Yawanoche
Frimpong. Follow him. Follow Oscar Provençal also on Facebook. I just started the monthly donations of the cathedral after careful consideration for the need of such a place. It benefits the state and no one else. Stop the noise. Let's all advance the building of state monuments. Hi, Day. Yes, when there was no Android phone, we didn't live in this country with this talk of nude picture problems. Those ones, they were taking the pictures physically like that. Yeah, that's how things work. Good morning, CAF. On the issues of nudity on our social media space, it's so sad and bad that even in our music videos, those in authority must please do something about it. I wonder what the NMC, NCA, they really do on all these things. Hi, Kafu, is Abana Kokov the only Ghanaian with bipolar disorder? Haven't we seen the nudity of other bipolar patients? Amma is asking a question like that. Togba is talking about clean beaches, very important. Upon the lawyer's analogy, then what happens to those who circulate the nude pictures of the alleged nude photos of the... okay, all right. A woman was sending a nude video of herself to her husband abroad and mistakenly landed on a church WhatsApp platform. What happens to such a person? You cover your face and you say, it wasn't me. Kaf, you gave us a drone picture of the Achimota forest. We have a drone picture of CSI. We delivered it to you. The drone picture is on our Facebook page. Go to Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Look, you will see the videos there. 2 more messages. I am done. All right. MPP has a tradition called Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition. So the panelists trying so hard to history to favor Ireland is doing great disservice to the MPP. It's time for Bawumia, and no amount of lies and misleading statements can overturn that, says Alhaj S. Kalu Nalerigu. Last question. Every few months ago, the president and his vice came and told the people of Ghana that the economy will soon rebound. But what we see is unprecedented increase in inflation. The economic managers must do something before it is too late. The managers of time on this show have told me that my time is up. Oscar, you're the man. I give you an Oscar for your performance today. Mr. Frimpong.
Then what does he get?
You get the same. I give you an Oscar too. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Yao Anoche Frimpong is a historian and a lawyer. You can follow him on Facebook. Yao Anoche Frimpong. Oscar Promotional is a man of the arts and actor. You can follow him on Facebook as well. You can follow us on Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Kafui. They follow me too. Yeah, I also want to be followed. No Oscar for me, but you follow me. Got conversations with GJA presidential candidates. We've got Minerals Commission conversations. We've got Malcolm Nuna. Could be a brother of Philly Nuna, we don't know. Valerie will find out. You stay with us. This is GTV Breakfast. I had to go take my oats.
into stories making headlines with Oscar Provençal and Yanoche Frimpong. You've also missed the health check. You can recap all those moments, including the breakfast news and breakfast sports, on our Facebook page, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We're also live on DSTV channel 278. Remember, this show is made possible by Purified Water and our Donko Next Level energy drink. And as we do most Wednesdays, we are back with the Minerals Commission once again. Today we are talking about the procurement list. Last week some conversations started already on that, and today we are going to continue doing that. Remember that you can watch this interview on the Minerals Commission's own social media handles. You can find them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and on Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana. Last week in our time with the Minerals Commission, we talked about the published local procurement list, 4th edition, for goods and services in line with the Minerals and Mining Local Content and Local Participation Regulations 2020 LI 2431. Today we are going to continue that deliberation, and the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin AEC, has joined us for a recap and some more details. Mr. AEC, good morning and welcome once again.
Morning.
So we are talking about procurement and local participation. When we look at what the Minerals Commission is seeking to do, especially when it comes to listing even mining companies on the stock exchange, we know that a lot of changes are bound to happen. But tell us, before we even get into the local content side, what's happening with the enlistment process on the Ghana Stock Exchange and what the prospects for the companies and the public would be once that's finalized.
Thank you, Thelma, and good morning. And actually, I was here 2 weeks ago. Let me apologize to the public for not making it last week. I had to travel for an equally important assignment, so I'm back.
We both
thank you. Yes.
I wasn't here last
Yes,
time.
you also not here, so I had to deal with your colleague, Valerie. Let me say this. See, if you look at the law, it says local content and local participation. Local content and local participation. An aspect of the law also requires that companies that are operating here list on the stock market. And it's important for 3 reasons. One, we keep saying and repeating that we've been over 100 years. There's a particular mine that is about 125 years. Mining is not benefiting us. Obuasi is not looking like Joburg or Cape Town or Perth or Toronto or Vancouver. What normally happens in the mining scene is that these millions of dollars they use in putting up these mines, the money mainly come from outside, either through some loan from some bank in Canada, US, or what do you call it, Australia, or they raise the money through the stock market there. So either Perth, Toronto, Vancouver, or London, where practically they have no mine. I don't remember when the last coal mine even was closed down. Or they tap into some hedge fund or some private equity. Remember, when they bring these monies here, they have to repatriate them. So the only way we can also benefit from the sector, if we want money to lead to broad-based development, is to ensure that these things are done here, or they raise the money here. So the law says that, to be precise, Regulation 13 of LI 2431, it says that companies that are operating here should list. But then what are the modalities? The minister responsible for mines, in this case, we have to determine the limits of local equity of the capital expenditure you must list. But you see, it's one thing saying, let us get up and go and list, and it's one thing saying that you qualify. So we are not the regulators. So we have to, because the stock market is a different ballgame altogether. So you have the Security and Exchange Commission and then the GSC. For the last 2-3 months, we've been working on them, working with them on the modalities, what should go into the listing. I'm happy to announce that the process has been completed. We have engaged the mining companies, and then we'll go back finally to them to lay out everything. Today we shall meet the minister and give him a full briefing as to where we are. And I'm proud to say that within 2 weeks, you see the first listing. So again, yes, again we are, this is not for the time for me to disclose which company. but it's just to tell you how far we have progressed.
And the minister will give us better details once you're done with those
we'll brief him as to what we've done so far and bring him to speed as to the work we have done. But over the last 3 months or so, the work we've been doing with the Security and Exchange Commission and also the Stock Exchange shows that one company has almost, if not passed the test, and is ready to go to the stock market within 2 weeks or less.
Just one?
For now.
As against how many?
Why? Because you see, the modalities are different. For instance, we need to ask, who qualifies? Should we say $100 million or any company that is $200 million investment or capital qualifies? What should be the cutoff point? Those are the things that we are working with the company.
Those are questions I'm sure came to you at the table when you were talking about this. And whichever company has now almost qualified to be on the stock exchange has met certain criteria.
Of course.
What are those?
Well, when we met the Security and Exchange Commission and the Stock Exchange, what they did was that if we want to get into the stock market, we require the following information from each mining company and on the industry. We provided same. And then we discussed with them, they did their work, came back, and then they requested for data on all the mining companies. Again, we submitted that information to the Security and Exchange Commission and Ghana Stock Exchange. They finished their review. To be honest with you, even this company even went ahead to even start the process before we came out to the modalities. So that's where we are. We are on course, and one is ready. We will get a report on the others too, once they also pass the test, and then they will also list. But bear in mind that the law says that those that are not able to meet the criteria, we will have to work with them for them to meet the criteria within a certain specified period. Now, I keep saying this. Take a very big multinational like Anglo Gold Ashanti. I think that's the largest producer of gold in in Africa, and one of the top 10. They have two big mines in Ghana. The Obuasi mine, which is over 100 years old. And then they have one in Iduapriem, that's Takwa area. They are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and other stock exchanges across the world. They don't have a single mine in South Africa. Anglo Gold Ashanti has sold all their interests in South Africa. Yet they have two big properties in Ghana, which, if you put together, gives them about between 500 and 600,000 ounces. Why can't they list in Ghana here for us to buy shares? Why should they go outside and be bringing money and then take the money back? Look at the currency crisis we are having, if I could say that. You know, the cedi. You know, so we need more of the inflows here. So if we can raise the money here on the stock market, the money stay here, and then we also become owners of the mine in a way. When you are giving meaning to the term local participation, that is the crux of the matter.
Apart from trying to raise the revenues for the mining companies to operate and then stem the flow of the repatriating the proceeds, we want to see mining companies, you know, getting more infrastructure, more amenities, and bringing them up to speed to the level of the cities that you've mentioned. How is the listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange specifically going to address the shortfalls of mining communities where the mines are located? Maybe
I'll prefer we stay on course, because I have a whole different presentation which I'll be coming here to do.
Okay.
On how mining communities can impact positively.
I think I'll be very interested.
Oh, yes,
and the Ghanaian public would be very interested.
And we're actually coming out with a law to formalize these so-called community development agreements, which for now is voluntary.
Okay.
But the stock market, they have to. But we have to follow the rules. And I'm saying there's good news. 2 weeks, I'll come here and give you the good news. In fact, next week, once I'm to get the schedule for the SEC and GSE, we will come here. And then they will come and explain to us. And you give us all the details. Yes, they will tell us. So I'm expecting that you buy some of the shares when these things are sold. Then we can give meaning to local content. Local content and participation. But there's a list, and you've given me this document that I have before me. And you've just told me that you have 41 items on the 4th edition of the procurement list. Tell us what the list is all about and what it's meant to achieve. Are these guidelines that should influence mining companies' purchases of goods and services? All right, thank you, Thelma. Again, let me start this way. If you check our reports and our records, at least $2 billion is spent, by the mining companies to procure various goods and services. The figure will go up, raising, mines are expanding, new mines are coming up. So we may be heading to the region of $3, $4, $5 billion in the next 2-3 years. A few statistics and you can understand what I'm saying. You need to understand, I want to lay the foundation so that you get the picture properly. So take Bibiani mine, for example. They're going to spend about $200 million to redevelop the mine. And they're going to do it within a year or two. Wasa is sinking about $1 billion in the mine. Ahafo, Newmont, another 800 million. And of course, what do you call it? Anglo Ashanti, that is also spending about 800 million. So within the next 3 years, we're looking at about $3, $4, $5 billion. Most of this investment, goods and services. So our job is to ensure that many of these things go to Ghanaians and then the money will stay here. And some of the projects are quite big. I mean, 100 million, 40 million, 30 million here and there. And a whole lot of things will go into it. There's a very big mine coming up north. It will cost close to about $500 million. You need a lot of people to be on the construction site, a lot of things. They will make a request to import a whole lot of things. Our duty is to ensure those things are done here. So we can go through the list quickly. But the reasons are very simple. One, that we link mining to the rest of the economy. Then we can support manufacturing. A whole lot of things are fabricated which are required by the mines. Industries should be able to do them here. That's one. Two, we should also put money in the pocket of Ghanaians where they should go to provide certain services or certain supplies rather than importing them. And then secondly, and overall, allow mining to contribute to broad-based development. That is the goal of all these things that we are doing. And if you look at the list, I can talk about 3 things. One, certain items have been on the list all these years. Having looked at the reports and check what we do, we are now convinced that these are things Ghanaians have the capacity to do. So for certain items, we are saying that we will no longer allow foreigners to come and do them. My favorite is contract mining. Contract mining alone is close to $1 billion for surface operation. So we are saying that anybody who has an open pit or a surface mine, you have to get a Ghanaian to do the drill, blast and haul and all those things for you. Don't bring in a foreigner to come and do it. Effective this year, they are complying. We'll get into the penalties and the reporting requirements later on. And when you look at them, you have no choice than to follow the law. So that's $1 billion. The money will stay here. That's my favorite slogan. So that is one. Lubricants. Providing lubricants to the mining companies. Until last year, anybody could do it. So the likes of Total, Vivo and Co can do it. We are saying that effective this year, a foreign entity cannot supply lubricants to the mining companies. This is almost about $100 million or more. It could go up. So you add that to contract mining, you are going over $1 billion. So this is also one item that is exclusively reserved for Ghanaians. And then what shocked me was that, and I don't know how you escape us. If you look at this item, overalls and work clothes, it's been on the list for all this while. And I'm wondering why this stuff that they wear, 60 plus, years of independence, these clothes and things should be imported. We have a lot of textiles and garment factories that could do these things locally. So we are also saying that these items should be done locally, don't import. So that's the first category on the list. Items that are now exclusively for Ghanaian companies. In other words, your shareholders and your directors must be 100% Ghanaians. That is the first group. Now the second group is where we are saying that we have some capacity, but not total. So we allow some foreign participation. So over the years, as we build capacity, like we did for contract mining, open pit, and then we'll say, now look, it's enough. Ghanaians can do it, get out. And what are the examples there? Underground mining. If you want to go down, technology, you need a lot of money. Technology, we are not there yet. But even that one, some Ghanaians have taken up the challenge. So if you go to the deepest mine in Ghana, Obuasi, it's a JV between a Ghanaian and a foreign entity, and it's 50-50. So it tells you that eventually, years down the line, Ghanaians will be able to do underground mining on their own. So we are allowing some form of foreign participation because of the money involved, and in particular the technology, which is so advanced that we are not there yet. So that's also another example. And then you also have the third category where over the years we realize that, look, these things are there, but then we have not looked at them. What do we do? So two examples stand out clearly. Financial services, and that's my favorite. Financial services and insurance. Now, what are we saying? We are saying that effective this year, look at the number of mining companies in Ghana here. Over 400 plus. Okay, there are close to about 20 or so that are producing, those in exploration, etc. Practically every item, asset, or infrastructure at their site is insured. I want to believe that TBC here, almost everything here is insured. And that's a lot of money. We are saying not less than 20% of the insurance you place for all your assets at your mine site, including even the staff there, at least you go to insurance companies owned by Ghanaians. We, Minerals Commission, we are not the regulator. So we reach out to the regulator, National Insurance Commission. They brought the companies, they have an eye also. We have written to the mining companies that they should comply.
And they have the capacity to...
Of course. They have the capacity.
The
you have to start from somewhere. I have just told you that there's a Ghanaian doing underground mining, Rockshore. They are in Obuasi here. They have you have to start from somewhere.
That's why you're starting with 20 and not...
Well, we are starting with... we got the list from the National Insurance Commission. And they are saying, we said, look, give us the names of the insurance companies that are owned by Ghanaians. That is, again, to repeat, the directors and shareholders 100% Ghanaians. 9 names were brought. We've passed it on to the industry. And we are saying, please go out and reach out to these people and then do the insurance with them. Now, I'll distinguish that one from the financial one. Maybe last year, some of them might have insured their, what do you call it, properties or assets with some other companies that are not 100% Ghanaian. Maybe somewhere in December or October or November. So maybe it's for a year. So some of them walk into our office and say, look, I have an insurance company, maybe about 90% of this entity that is foreign. But it will expire somewhere in June this year. Are you suggesting I cancel it because you have brought this new requirement? I said no. Once it expires, then make sure that the new placement, at least 20% goes to Ghanaian companies. That is one. Now, where we are interested in is the financial services. We are talking about the industry where receipts from the sale of minerals is over $6 billion. Very soon we hit 10 billion because of expansion, because of the new development. Again, here we are saying a minimum of 20% of the entire financial transactions of the mining companies should be reserved for Ghanaian banks. Again, we wrote to Bank of Ghana. They brought the list. We've passed it on. So we are looking at the likes of NIB. We are looking at the likes of Agri Development Bank, CBG, Car Bank and Co. They should go out there, engage them. So if your turnover is, let's say, $400 million or $300 million, in your report, which you have to file with us not later than a month at the end of the year, I would like to see that maybe this amount of money that you got from the sale of minerals, 20% at least went to these banks. And we will check. I will come to the penalties and you can understand why if you fall foul of this law, it's not a good news. So these are some of the things that we are doing. So these ones have been enhanced. And we'll do that every year. Every year we are bound to review the list. Either add, reduce, or what do you call it, stay where we are. But we'll never reduce because Ghanaians are improving their capacity every day. So hopefully by September, October, we'll come out with new items, or the ones that are just on the list, we'll enhance them again, engage industry, and by January we'll publish them.
It's quite an extensive list that I'm looking at of goods and services, and some I can figure out, some I cannot. But it seems like there is an attempt to just industrialize and make the mining purchases more local based. So source more of their material from Ghanaian companies with Ghanaian workers, right? Well,
it's not an attempt. We have no choice than to do it.
Backed by the law that's now been put.
The resources belong to 30 million plus Ghanaians. We have a responsibility to this nation, the people of Ghana, to ensure that this stuff that they dig out, the money comes back, or at least reasonably some of the products and services that they can procure. I mean, overalls and work clothes you import, or you allow a foreign company to supply fuel to the mine, lubricants that we cannot do here. And I have over 10 plus Ghanaians who are doing contract mining, gold fields, and gold Ashanti, including the biggest gold producing company in the world, Newmont, is here. They have not complained. Why should we open the doors to foreigners? They will not do that. Elsewhere, they even give subsidies to their companies to stay afloat, just to protect them. That is it. So we have a duty to ensure that mining benefits this country. We are tired of hearing 100 years of mining, and we have communities that don't look like places where we've dug stuff. We'll get there, and we are doing it. So it's not as if it's an attempt. We have to do it, and we are doing it. We're going to do it.
Talk to us about the reporting requirements that come under this.
Now, before we go to the reporting requirements, this is what you must know, or this is what is expected. If you're a mining company, you are supposed to give us a procurement plan. That's what the law says. 5 years. The plan, we expect to see 3 things in the plan. 1, your targets of local procurement having regard to the items on the list. So, for example, these 41 items, Newmont, if they submit their plan, they should be able to tell me that this one, I have no choice because the loss is 100% Ghanaian, so I'm going to give it to a Ghanaian. This one, I want to procure this one 40% locally, or import 60, or procure 30, next year I move to 60, whatever. So that is the plan. You submit it to us. We'll review it and approve it. That is it. Now, you must also tell us the prospects for local procurement, and even the service providers, how you can assist them and broaden their opportunity, including technical assistance. Some of them even train them. So once we approve your plan, at the end of the year, so come end of December, by January 31st, 2023, I'm expecting a full report from the mining companies that they have complied fully with the plan we approved for them. So if you come and tell me that I'm going to procure this item 60% locally, at the end of the day you do 40%. The problem with you, why you didn't, get the entire system.
And before we wrap up, what about this, the penalties? Because
the penalties,
we talked about it already.
The penalties, for instance, if you import an item which you are supposed to procure locally, you pay the full value of the the duty, and then 5% of the import value. If it's services, 5%. If it's an expatriate you brought, you pay 1 year gross salary.
So it's all to ensure that they comply with the regulations.
Actually, some of the fines $10,000 CD equivalent, and for every day, $5,000 US. So a lot of them have been fined millions. I'm not happy about that. We don't have the urge to fine you and rush to fine you, but we want you to do the right thing. Maybe next week I'll spend a lot of time on the fines. They are quiet, if you can permit me the word, very dangerous, and no company will go near that. You could end up paying about $20, $30, even $50 million worth of fines.
We'll talk about the penalties next week. Okay. So this wraps it up very nicely for us. We are still talking about the new procurement list. Regulation 24. LI 2431, the Minerals Commission is educating mining companies and indeed the general public on what the law requires companies to do when it comes to procuring some items locally. So 41 items on this new list, and Mr. Isi, who is the CEO of the Minerals Commission, has been helping us understand that. Next week, perhaps he will come back to help us understand the penalties and what Ghana stands to benefit from the local content and local participation regulation set in place by the Minerals Commission. Mr. Martin AC is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. You can catch this interview and all other information concerning the Minerals Commission on their social media handles. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Look for Minerals Commission Ghana. This is the Breakfast Live on GTV, and you can watch this as well on our Facebook page, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We'll take a quick break, and I'll say thank you, Mr. AC. We'll see you again next week. We'll be back after the break.
Yes. Come and buy shares.
Let's all be on high alert. Report any unusual activities in your neighborhood and community. Yato, minamia nonjo.
It's still Breakfast Live on GTV. Now we are looking into issues of journalism and the matters that arise out of the GJ elections. So many candidates are vying for positions, and finally, after a lot of back and forth, it's almost over. The long-awaited national and regional elections of the Ghana Journalists Association will be held simultaneously on Friday, June 24, 2022, at all designated polling centers across the country, and this follows a successful resolution of petitions submitted before the GJ Elections Adjudication Committee, which has prolonged the elections. 3 candidates are vying for the top post of president of the GJA, and some of them are here to make a case for why they should get your vote. Mr. Dave Agbenu is a candidate, Mr. Gehat Mensah is another candidate, and also Mr. Albert Dufour, and we'll get to hear from some of the candidates and see what they have in store for members of the Ghana Journalists Association. And at the table, they are here to make their case. Good morning, and thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Thelma.
Aspiring to be president.
Absolutely.
Why should we give you our vote?
First of all, let me say it's happy to be back to the studio. I remember the last time I sat here as one of the team members was some 22 years ago, and that was in 2020. After being with this program for about 5 years, I'm happy to be back. I have decided to contest for the presidency of the GGA because of a variety of reasons.
Let's start right from the top. Start with maybe my name is Gehat Mensah. Let's begin from there so that people get to meet you. Introduce yourself to those who may be listening to you for the first time on this campaign, who have not had the opportunity to meet you in person.
Good, Thelma. I was tempted to do what the Nigerians do, all protocols observed, because you did the introduction for me. So my name is Gehat Mensah. I am contesting for the presidency of the GG. I'm a journalist by profession. I have worked various roles in journalism with various media organizations. I've worked with Graphic, I've worked with Ghanaian Times, I've done my time with GBC. I did a bit of corporate communications. Currently, I run my own consultancy. I have decided to contest for the presidency of the GDA because I think that the association currently is at the crossroads, and I will explain what I mean by that if I have permission to proceed.
You have 3 minutes to convince people.
The GDA is at the crossroads because, look, our reputation at this point in time is not the best. Our image appears to be on a nosedive. When it comes to organization, I don't think we have acquitted ourselves properly, particularly because for 1.5 years, for instance, we as an association have been struggling to put together a list of members in good standing. It beggars belief. I don't think that when it comes to the critical conversations that are held in this country, this association is found anywhere. By the nature of what we do as journalists, we have contact with citizens from the lowest to the highest. I am of the opinion that we believe and understand Ghanaians more than any other profession. And so when there are issues that are being discussed, when, for instance, the LGBT discourse is going on, an invitation is made to professional associations, whatever, to make an input, I think GJA should be one of the associations that should respond to such requests. The National Cathedral has become a subject of critical national conversation. Where are we in this? When it comes to the issue of welfare, and I look at welfare both from the point of view of conditions of service and protection of journalists, can't we as a professional association start a process, for instance, where in any time in this country where we have a government that does not protect journalists, if we have a government that supervises a situation where journalists are attacked or killed, can't we trigger an international process that will lead to the government being blacklisted? There is a lot of opportunity for us as journalists to protect ourselves. There is a lot of opportunity for us as journalists to partner with the right institutions in this country in order to precipitate development. And I think that we are not taking advantage of these opportunities, and that is why I decided to contest.
It's funny.
The inability to take opportunity of all these issues have led to a situation where we are virtually losing our respect as professionals. Gay Hartmansa stands for a process that would restore this association and this profession to where it ought to be.
I just find it quite interesting that for people whose profession it is to be on air all the time and speak, we find ourselves with a situation where we feel, at least you feel in your submission, that our voices, when it comes to our contribution to national discourse on issues of national interest, are not represented. How is that even possible? We are on air every time. Our newspapers, our blogs are active and published constantly. So how are our voices lost in these conversations?
I think we have not understood the times in which we are. I think we have not appreciated the fact that the next phase of the GJA is the phase that I call the advocacy phase. You need a president of this association who understands these issues. You need a president of this association who can lead conversations at the highest offices of this country. And you need a president who understands that, look, it is not just about unionization. It is not just about issuance of press statements. Look, I am not proud being a member of an association that would sit and wait for journalists to be attacked. And after they have been attacked, we issue press statements and go to sleep and wait for the next journalist to be attacked, and then we issue another press statement. Indeed, I am even beginning to believe that probably we have a template of press statements sitting somewhere, just waiting for the attack, then we fix in the names and then issue it. Are we saying that as an association, we cannot think proactively and have a conversation, for instance, with the IGP, with the officer commanding the Ghana Armed Forces, with the Director of National Investigations, whoever are in charge of the apparatus of security in this country? Can't we sit down and have a common understanding that, look, this frequency of attacks on journalists, this mishandling of journalists must stop? What do we do to stop it? We can come out with a charter that both of us or all those involved, the stakeholders, will buy into. A charter, or call it a regulation, that would point the military, point out every other person who deals with journalists to what you do with journalists when you encounter them, and when you feel that you have reached your top. What do? You don't manhandle them, you don't attack them physically. What do we also do as journalists when we find ourselves in that situation? I think this is what I refer to as the phase of advocacy. If you don't have a leader who will be able to lead this process, I believe the association that should protect journalists will find itself in very serious challenges and wanting when it comes to our basic responsibilities.
Gayhat, it's not just you aspiring to be the next president of the GJA. Your other colleagues, Albert and Dave, are also on the ballot paper. David Agbenu is joining us on the line to also make his bid for why he should get your vote if you're a member of the GJA in good standing and will be voting on Friday. Dave is here to make the case. And I'll say good morning to you, Mr. Agbenu. Good morning. I think we may have lost him there. But Gayhat, you make such strong comments about welfare of journalists, and that's where it really begins and ends, doesn't it? When the journalists feel that they are adequately compensated and remunerated for the work that they do. But these are media organizations that we are told are not even paying all of its members, and some people have to go out on their own and fight for themselves. How do we champion the welfare of journalists when, especially in today's age of stringing and freelancing, you cannot even permanently constantly attach reporters to media houses anymore? Where do we begin to champion welfare issues if the media does not employ these people directly?
I'm not expecting a 1-hour lecture on this topic. We can continue conversation till...
I'm sure we can.
Look, let me start off by saying that about 3 weeks ago, we were all in this country and we woke up to the ratings with regard to press freedom globally. It is not for nothing that at the base of that rating was the welfare of journalists, including issues of professionalism and also of protection of journalists. It gives us, again, an opportunity. We also have how government was flustered when that report came out. And it was not only government. I believe most of us who are involved in this profession were worried. Accusing fingers were pointed towards the doorsteps of government, and rightly so, because it is government responsibility to provide the environment that would enable press freedom to thrive. But I dare say that we as journalists also have a responsibility to promote press freedom in this country. It gives us the opportunity to sit with government and have a conversation and say, look, this is our plan to return Ghana within the global community of nations to where it ought to belong when it comes to press freedom. We need to be able, we should be able to put together a plan and go together and say, look, welfare was at the base of this. So was protection and security of journalists. So was the issue of professionalism. We must go with the plan. And that is why I keep on talking about the phase of advocacy. If you don't engage in boundary spanning, having interactions with those key stakeholders who promote what you do, who enhance what you do, we would not be resolved this issue of welfare.
Right.
And very often when we talk about welfare, the tendency is just to look at conditions of service and salary. But I look at welfare from the perspective of the various policies and laws that have to shift in order to ensure that we are able to enhance the welfare of journalists. If you give me the opportunity, I can go into
that.
I will.
I just want to I want to pick the thoughts of Dave, who has joined us on the line now. I must say that we invited also Mr. Albert Dufour to join us, but he was unable to join us this morning to make his case for why he should get your vote to be the next president of the GJA. But Dave Agbenu has joined us on the line, and I'll say good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for making the time.
Thanks. And thanks for having me.
We're going to give you a couple of minutes to convince us why we should vote for you. I know that I'm a member in good standing. A lot of staff of GBC are. A lot of the people who are watching us who are also professional journalists who are members of the GJ will be voting. Why should you get my vote? Why shouldn't I cast it in favor of Gayhat Mensah here, who is leading us into a phase of advocacy in our journalism journey?
Thank you very much. And thanks for the opportunity. And I think that Dave Agbenu is the best candidate. His experience, his loyalty, and his dedication to the Ghana Journalists Association put him poles apart from the other contestants. And I have served at the highest level of leadership of the Ghana Journalists Association before. And I conclude now that there's a new vision, or there should be a new vision for the association. And that vision, I predicate them on 4 pillars. The 4 pillars that will drive the association into the next phase. And the first one, obviously, is about the welfare of journalists in the country. We have had the experience of seeing a lot of journalists being paid poorly in this country. And we have been able to do anything concretely to ensure that journalists who work in this country receive salaries that they deserve. So what I'm going to tackle is the salaries of workers and the media workers or journalists. Going around the country campaigning for this position, I came across very pathetic stories. Stories of journalists being paid 100 cedis and 50 cedis for stories. That's depressive news. And that I'm going to tackle. And I'm going to tackle them through collaboration with media owners. Media owners have a key role to play in this process. Because, as you are aware, many of them set up the media organizations for various reasons. And so you need to engage them to understand that you may have your reasons for establishing the media house, but you will also have to pay journalists work in those media houses fairly.
That's the 1 out of 4, welfare, when it comes to salaries. What are the other 3?
And the third one is the financial independence. The Ghana Journalists Association. As you are aware, the Ghana Journalists Association has been operating for a long time and depending largely on the benevolence of corporate bodies to run its affairs. I think we have to change course. I think this is the time for us also to engage in income generating activities that will give financial independence to the association. For instance, look at NAGRA, look at NAT, look at nurses. They all have investments in income generating activities. Hostels, banks, insurance companies. Those things bring the direct income. They don't depend almost all the time on corporate bodies. I'm not saying that support of the corporate body is not necessary, but I welcome that. But I'm saying that we are now at the point where we need to change course and be financially independent for the benefit of our members. Many of our members across the country do not feel that they benefit from the DJA. The only thing that they pay you, and that's it. But we need to invest.
But you've served on the various levels at the GJA, just as you told us in your opening statement. So if you've been a part of the process that has brought the association this far, you're admitting that there were lapses in the various levels where you said, which has brought the need for you to run as president. Is that what you're telling us?
I am wiser now. Having served at the leadership level, I am wiser, and I think that I need to change and do things that will give us financial independence.
So now there's 2 more left to go. We've done the welfare, we've done the financial independence. You said it's a 4 pillar, so we have 2 legs. Give us the other 2 so we can wrap.
Yes, the third one is the strengthening of the chapters. GJA chapters across the country are operated largely with the support of national. I'm saying that it is possible for the chapters to operate in a more independent manner and also engage in activities that will give them some financial support to operate for the benefit of the members at the chapter level. And what am I talking about? We can build trust centers across the country where at least members will go for a meeting or conferences and use that place as a meeting place for their program. That we haven't done for 70 over 70 years, and taken the time to develop the chapters and to give to those at the chapter level to also enjoy the activities of the GGA.
Which brings us to the last point of your campaign, the last pillar of your campaign.
Yes, then the last point is about security and safety of journalists. We know that this is a worldwide problem. It's not peculiar to that. The impunity with which journalists are attacked. And my vision is that we need much more effort that we are presently doing in ensuring that journalists who are attacked get justice. Today, when journalists are attacked, we leave the effort to police and the court. And you know that because we don't have the coercive power of state, the very little we can do as an association. What I plan to do is to work with Parliament. Parliament to enact a law, a private members' bill, a law, to punish severely those who attack journalists. In addition, we're going to establish a consortium of lawyers. Unfortunately for us, a lot of journalists are going into law. We'll draft them into that committee to pursue every matter of attack.
Mr. Agbenu, someone would ask, journalists are fast becoming lawyers. Law is a very regulated space, and people have suggested perhaps it's time to think of getting the same stringent steps of training which people get in law or journalism. Is it time to look at licensing? Is it something that a presidency or a team led by you would consider?
I think that self-regulation and adherence to ethical standards are the best way to go. What we need to do is to deepen the education of our members and to have a mechanism to ensure that they abide by the ethics.
Right. We'll just have to, we may have to just leave it here. Mr. Agbenu, when you have time once again, and when we also make time available, we think that it's worth having all of you here so that we have a more in-depth conversation about how to move journalism forward in the next phase of our economic journey. I would appreciate the time that you have spent with us this morning, and I wish you the very best in the elections on Friday. Dave Agbenu is a presidential candidate hopeful for the Ghana Journalists Association. Gayhat Mensah is also another presidential hopeful. He is at the seat with me. Gayhat, I'll take your final words before we wrap. You've heard your colleague. He's also made his case, named 4 pillars, and you've also alluded to the same. And what will be your final comments before
our pillars are completely different. Let me make one statement. Look, when you made reference
but he's talked about welfare, he's talked about safety and security of the journalists, which you've also alluded to. That's why I'm saying that there are some similarities in your goals here. So where's the clear difference between you and the other candidates?
That what we need to be looking at is advocacy and empowerment. It's not about salaries or conditions and 100 cities and whatever. What are you going to do that? It's about having the right conversations and getting them to understand, for instance, that look, media houses pay certain kinds of taxes and licenses that we need to look at. Those are the issues that we need to consider. Why is traffic, for instance, the print media, why are they still paying import taxes on newsprint, on ink? What we produce as journalists is what I call public good. Journalism and government are hand in hand. Without us, government cannot govern. Why is it, for instance, that parliamentarians have taxes waived of the vehicles that they import, and media houses are still paying for licensing fees, for spectrum fees, and newsprint and ink? Why is it so? I mean, these are the conversations that need to be had at the highest level. When you made reference to licensing of journalists, I had expected him to say straight away that you cannot even consider licensing of journalists, particularly in a media house. Journalism is predicated on the fundamental human right, and that is freedom of speech. You cannot license people when you're talking about freedom of speech. Look, the old order changeth. Dave belongs to the old order. The old order has been in charge of this association for a decade. We haven't seen progress. Members of the GG, it is time to think and decide on what to do in order to move this association forward. I am the one who stands for the future of this association. Vote for Gerhard Mensah, and together let us place this association where it ought to be as the fourth estate of the realm in reality and in very pragmatic ways.
Thank you so much for the passion.
I can tell you always wanted to pull the brakes.
For the passion campaigning that has gone on at the table this morning. GJA elections coming up on Friday. Dave Agbenu, Gerhard Mensah and Albert Jufor gunning for the top post of president. Other executive positions are also up for grabs. Do make your choice. You've heard Gerhard, you've heard Dave Agbenu. Who do you think should be the best candidate? Friday will decide, and we'll be here to get into the details on Monday, perhaps, once those results are announced. Hopefully, we'll have the winner of the presidential slot in the studio to answer some questions about the way forward for the GJA. This is GTV Breakfast. Valerie is coming up next with her lifestyle segment. We'll be back. The conference, what the conference is about, and to shed more light on this, to talk more, I have Mr. James Oswansa. He's the Area Director of Communication for West Africa. I have Emilia Ahaji, she's a communication consultant, and Josephine Tete, she's a counseling psychologist and also a minister of God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GTV Breakfast. How is everybody?
We're doing good.
Right. Okay, and so what's the family conference about, the Strengthening Family Conference about? This is the fourth time. What inspired it? What happened during the first time, the second time, the third time? And what are we to expect? Like, give us the whole background. We'll start with you, James, yes.
Okay, great. And thanks for the opportunity to share this platform.
All right.
And we are so grateful to have this opportunity to also talk about the Strengthening Family Conference, which you rightly mentioned. This is the fourth edition, and it's going to be a 2-day kind of event.
Right.
And the whole motivation for this Strengthening Family Conference is to promote those measures that maintain and strengthen the fundamental unit of society, which is family, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we know that the family is the basic unit of society. So when we are able to strengthen these foundations, then the structure of the communities within which we live is going to develop with stronger morals and values.
Right.
So the conference seeks to promote that, and also we want to help the rising generation, ages between 15 to 35,
okay,
understand their challenges, not only that, and also find lasting, sustainable solutions to their own challenges. And they are taking lead in doing this. So it's pretty much like going to be like this, and some more other things to also discuss was my colleague.
All right, Auntie Emilia, you want to talk more on that, about what inspired the families conference?
Thank you, Valerie, and good morning to your viewers. It's yet another beautiful day to be with you. As my colleague rightly indicated, strengthening family has been on the hearts of the leadership of the church, because without a strong foundation of rising generation, I don't think we have leaders in future, and posterity will judge us. In fact, this is the 4th edition, and this time we are bringing all stakeholders together to help build this strong family core values into our children or the rising generation. This year, just like the other years, we are collaborating with Gender Ministry, DOFSU of the Ghana Police Service,
right.
Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, National Commission on Culture, and many more, to come together, discuss issues confronting the rising generation. Right. And we will be doing it together in 2 days. The first day will be exhibitions and booths, where there will be hands-on activity that will help the rising generation in areas of education, right. employment, self-reliance, motivation and empowerment, as well as mental health issues.
Right.
And so they will be involved together to build these core values that will help us raise better and future leaders in the communities, or it starts from the home, and in the world at large, that will bring peaceful coexistence,
right.
and will have a happy place to reside.
Right. Let me rope in Josephine. You're a counseling psychologist, and so with all that's happening with COVID, trauma, depression, what are the key areas, or what are the highlights of this year's conference, especially looking at the age bracket? And yeah, coming from your outfit as a counselor.
Okay. So, relating with the youth at the larger level, you can tell that this COVID, this pandemic, shielded a lot of youth. They were kept in their shells and couldn't come out. There's a whole lot of anxiety, uncertainty as to what their hope or the future is. Strengthening Families Conference with the theme Strengthening the Rising Generation is bringing to bear that there's still light at the end of the tunnel, or there's still light right here. And therefore we need to rise as the rising generation and begin to look wide beyond our limited confines and see that there are greater, wider opportunities for us to tap into and begin to look in there and grab what we can get, begin to be self-reliant, and see the opportunities we can also bring to bear as a youth or as the rising generation.
Right. Okay. And so where is a 2-day conference? When is it taking place? Where is it taking place? And what times during the day? Also, do people need to register? How do people get to know more about the conference? And is it just for people who worship with the Latter-day Saints, or everybody is invited?
Yeah, okay. So let me, before we kind of answer that, let me say that we are so excited to have Ashesi University also collaborating with us, and they are celebrating their 20 years of existence, which is great. So they're going to be part of the exhibition. And this year's conference, there is something maiden about it, which is having a 2 set of panelists. The first is the rising generation themselves. We've been able to have people within that age bracket who have succeeded in thinking outside the box and making things happen And I'm glad to share that we are blessed to have Wadi Maya, arguably the best YouTuber in Africa, joining us this year. And it's amazing. And we have several others who are also joining him on stage to discuss how they have made it and to encourage and empower the rest of the globe. And we have also experts panel who will be filling in the gaps where these rising generation may not be able to adequately address their issues well and help out. So let me leave it to the ladies to talk about where and when it's going to happen.
Yeah, the first day is 24th June, and it will happen live at the National Theatre. And then the second day will be in the church's premises at the Independence Avenue. I want to chip in that this is an international forum, and we're having people from the whole of West Africa, from Europe and UK to participate and bring their expertise on board. We also have, as he said, a lot of social media influencers to motivate the rising generation. And so we are calling on all walks of life to come join hands to make this a real success.
Okay.
You know, we having the National Theatre is going to be a really hands-on. We have chocolatiers, that's youth. They are going to motivate their peers. Okay. And then we will also have a lot of religious leaders to participate in this activity.
So for day one, which is more of an exhibition, are the slots still open for people to register, or is closed?
No, we are open. Like, you go to strengthenfamily.org.
Strengthenfamily.org.
Yeah, so it's strengthenfamily.org.
That's it on our screen.
Yeah, it's on the screen. You can register and share with a friend, share with a family member. And if you are in Accra and you have the time, you can participate in person by coming to the National Theatre or to 57 Independence Avenue. That is the church's headquarters. That's on Saturday, 25th, to be part of the program. Otherwise, you can also watch it wherever you are around the globe.
All right.
Once you log on to strengthenfamily.org, there'll be a link. That will be streaming live, so you can be part of it.
Right.
Virtually.
Right. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for educating us on the Strengthening Families Conference and all it's about. And to get more information, you go to strengthenfamily.org, and that's where to register and get more information. It's a 2-day conference. It begins on the 24th of June 2022 at the National Theatre. Day 1 is an exhibition, and day 2 is where we get to hear people talk and get our lives impacted. And so, yeah, go to strengthenfamily.org for that. Having that conversation with me, I've had James Owusu-Ansah. He's the area director of communication West Africa for the Latter-day Saints, and Emilia Ahaji, communication consultant, and Josephine Tete, she's a counseling psychologist and also a minister of God. Thank you for coming. Yes, it's still Chi TV breakfast, and yes, Malcolm Nuna is in the house. Is he related to Felinuna? Kafu wants to know. So yeah, there's more talent. There's fresh young talent in the house, and it's coming up at this break, guys. And so we're going to have a conversation with an artist who describes himself as an emerging Afro artist. Lately, we have Afro-fusion artists, Afro beats, like it's a lot. And so we're going to speak to him, find out why he calls himself that, and also find out what he has in store for the Ghana music industry, and also what his plans are. Hi, Malcolm.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
You've been doing music, like singing, since you were 8.
Yeah, like not singing, but singing in the shower, singing in front of the mirror, singing to your friends since I was 8. Yeah.
And so right from age 8, did you know you were going to be a singer?
I always wanted to be. Like when you watch like those talent shows and you go to the mirror and like, sing. So I always wanted to be, but I didn't know how I was going to be one, you know.
Guys, it's still GTV Breakfast. We are live on DSTV channel 278. Look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back shortly. So yeah, back to Malcolm. Malcolm,
hello.
Why would you call yourself an emerging artist? The video that just aired is a hit, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say I'm an emerging artist because I'm still being known by some people. Like a couple of people mistake my name for Feli Nuna, and I'll call myself emerging because till the time that they know that it's Malcolm Nuna and they stop getting the names wrong and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I'll still call myself emerging because I feel like I'm not out there.
Okay. Yeah. So what are you a singer, a rapper? What are you?
I'm a singer, but I just love hip hop and I love to rap.
Okay. So what part do you sing?
What part?
Yes. Do you sing the bass? Auto, what part do you sing?
I can't tell unless the beat comes in and I just pick what to sing.
Unfortunately, I'm not a beat maker. I would have given you an amazing beat, but we want to hear you sing.
Okay.
Like now.
All right.
Your own song.
Okay.
Okay. Something that maybe nobody has heard yet.
Something
and it's in
nobody.
Yes, it's in the offing. I'm sure you sing. You've been singing in the shower since you were 8.
Yeah.
Give us something. Let's have a feel of your voice.
Okay. Okay, let me sing something someone hasn't heard. Okay. Can I rap for you?
Feel free. Be creative.
Masoria no part 222. A decent meal go feed to do the but man I'm street no so I'm looking for that milli too. Melana say Jainu no to cause my boy fish crowd. I play the shows, no body sing along, of course to laugh at you. Sometimes I just want to sell my soul, but the prices then they show me no, you know good interfere me so. Allow I could buy Jimmy so cause everybody tire me. Abongo, please don't fire me. This music thing is all I got. Thank God you discover me. It's not about the bars, I'm just trying to raise the bar. And if you know be sure, you know go catch me in a bar. I'm just working really hard cause life you F you to your soul. shouting in the studio for Take Me Really Far. I know they spit sweet bars. If you want sweet bars, go buy Kit Kat.
Hey, if you want sweet bars, go buy Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Tell us how the music industry has treated you so far. Has it been kind to you? Have people helped you? Have people held your hand?
Yeah.
How has it treated you?
Well, I would say, yeah, so far so good. My friends, the friends I've made like so far during my journey have been very helpful, and I really appreciate all the love they've been showing me. They share my stuff, put my stuff on your stories. Yeah, I really appreciate the love they've been showing me.
Okay, so now tell us your story, how you came to be Malcolm Nuna, who is sat here right with us.
Well, so let me go way back. When I started rapping and singing for my friends in SHS.
Right.
Yeah, and whenever I sing to them or whenever I rap something to them, they tell me that it's someone's song I've taken, or I'm just trying to be smooth and be slick about it. I've stolen a song that isn't popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like when people feel like you've stolen someone's stuff, it's actually good enough for them to not believe that it's you are the one that sang it, you feel me? So my friends kept on telling me that, bro, you have to get to the studio, get to the studio, get to the studio. And a friend of mine, his name is Joe he had a friend back in Tema that used to record him in their kitchen and stuff. And he linked me, I was like, yo, after school, we need to record this song that you've been singing. I had a song, I hadn't recorded yet, but it was popular in like SHS. When you go to Wege, hey, they know the song, but I hadn't. Yeah, and I linked up, that was my producer, when I met him, his name is Swati, big shout out to Swati, and he recorded my first song.
What's the title?
Man Like Nuna.
Man Like Nuna.
Yeah, that's when I recorded my first song. And fast forward, the song continued making waves in the SHS turf. I used to get little gigs like in Wege, hey, and other schools and stuff. And let me fast forward a bit to one day, a friend of mine, her name is Lisa Kwama.
Okay.
She had a manager, his name is Abongo, yeah. So she has this playlist that she used to play my songs in the car anywhere they were going. And it wasn't just my song, there were other songs over there from other bigger people.
Artists.
But when it got to my song, the other people in the car also sing along like it was a song that was already out there. And my manager asked her, oh, which guy is this? Because you told me he's in your school, so why are people singing a song like it's a song that's out there? He was like, he wants to meet me. And he met me the first day, we vibed, and he was like, yo, this song, I like this song, I want to shoot a video for it. And we shot the video, we're just supposed to shoot it, and that was it. And he asked me, what do you want the video to be about? And I was like, yo, I want it to be guys riding bicycles, like we're just young, so that's what my friends would like to see, so let's do that. And he was like, okay, let me link up the director, General J. He shot my first music video, and he heard me out and was like, yo, like I feel like this guy has like he's saying something that is not just any other teenager that would say about the videos, like let's keep him. At least that's what my manager told me. And we shot the video, and fast forward, other schools, and we're here somehow. There's more. You want me to say more?
If you want Ghana to know the rest of the story.
So after that, I completed school.
Which school?
Ghana National College. Big shouts to everyone in Ghana National College. The best school in Ghana, in Africa.
It's debatable. It's debatable. Please, can you just talk about your music? Let me talk about.
Let me talk about my music.
Thank you.
Well, you don't feel like my school is the best school?
No, it's not.
Okay, no problem.
Let's not have a battle about schools. Let's stick to music.
Let's stick to music.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so when I completed school, I released my debut album, Hasta La Vista. Yeah, it had 17 songs on the album. And I felt like when I made a statement with the album, because it wasn't something that was out there that a young kid will come out and just, his debut will be an album of 17 songs. And I featured a couple of artists who are my friends now, who really helped me. Big shouts to Family, Yao Tog, Tulin K, and Hot Kid, and LaRusso. Big shouts to all of them.
So these guys you just mentioned, they were like your peers. You started music on the same time with them. That's that's you and Yao.
Yeah, that's me and Yao. That was when he completed school.
Right.
Surprise him. Yeah. Yao was a very good friend of mine. Yeah, anytime I go to Kumasi, I'm at his house recording music and stuff. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So what next? Your career is young and it looks bright. The spotlight's on you now. What next? Any EPs, upcoming albums, more singles to drop, a mini concert perhaps? What's it for you?
Yeah, so as you said, I just released a song. It's titled Benzo. Right now, that's what I'm pushing, produced by Swati. Yeah, so far, that was just a week ago. So.
But Benzo, why Benzo? What Benzo? Benzo, is it a Benz? Like what?
Yeah, it's a nickname for Benzo. It's the whole inspiration behind the song.
What's the inspiration behind the song?
Back again, I was in Kumasi, I was in Yao Tog's house, and his mom just cooked for us. We had a meal, like a whole family meal, and we headed back to the studio because we hadn't worked the whole day. So I was just there with my producer. He was playing beats, trying beats, and we were just vibing. I was texting someone, and then the person asked me, do I drive? And I was like, I drive, but I don't have a car. And she was like, oh, you can be friends if you have a car.
She can be friends with you if you have a car.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a car, she wasn't going to be friends?
Yeah, but that's what she told me.
Okay.
You know? I was like, damn, it really hit me because like, is this what happens nowadays if you don't have a car? I'm just a teenager.
Yeah, you're just teens, yeah.
Yeah, so we all shouted because I was showing it to my friends in the studio. It's like, oh, and my producer was already playing the beat and it became a vibe in the studio. We're all singing along. I was saying we need Benz and I laid the verses to it and that's how the song came.
So it's playing in the background. So I want you to go on it so that we actually have you do it.
Okay. Now I come here the kwacha and I say you want me why slow. Or send me a guy to my friend of you. Me benzin ti kwano ko. Ope cheese. Ope cheese. Oko now oko. Oko now oko. Oko now oko. Oko now oko. They need me cause now we making dough. Girl, you acting so freaky, don't call me on my phone. Tell your friends you did me cause you see me for them shows. Open me see Canady, I've been no. I pull up in the Benz with OG, some random cop with the search more queens. We dey travel and see, she dey call my line like emergency. Don't post me, girl, don't be silly. I got foreign beats in my DMs. You think this life really gon' pay you? Y'all gon' fail me on streets. Or send me a gang to my main friend if you. Me benzin ti kwa no ko. Ope cheese. Ope cheese. Oko na oko. Oko na oko. Oko na oko.
Martin.
Oko na oko. We free. Yeah, so
Martin,
thank you.
Martin, and it's been making waves since last week. Yeah. Tell us what are the comments what was the first comment you got? The first comment ever when the song came out?
So when I released the song, I was on Boomplay because when I release a song, I just go check like what's happening. I was like, who broke this boy's heart? That was the first comment I saw, and the rest, people really like the song. Like I see the comments out there when I release stuff, and I really appreciate it. And I'm trying to start a challenge because just to make the song make more waves. So I'm asking the people watching now that those on TikTok, those on Trailer, Instagram and stuff, like do some cool dance and tag me. Malcolm Nuna on all social platforms, MALCOLMNUNA. So I'm very interactive, so send me your videos, I really appreciate it.
But why are you not starting the challenge? Why are you not doing a dance video so that they follow?
Yeah, I'm a very bad dancer.
Join the club!
I'm a very bad dancer. And I want the song to grow on them. Like I don't want to force anything on them, but if I want to force something on you next week, I'll send you a video and during your show, you just say
Yeah, I think we will. I think we will. Yeah, I think
really
we will. I think you
appreciate
nail it. Look,
Yeah.
trust me, there are lots of dancers like us in Ghana.
Yeah.
They are all just
I
hiding,
feel-
but they are like us. Eh?
I feel we are more than the actually good dancers. You know?
We like sitting in
Yeah.
chairs to dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you
We
for
love
having
your
me.
song. We love your vibe. We are wishing you success. And thank you for sharing
appreciate
your
it. Thank
story.
you. Thank
How do we find you again on social media?
MALCOLMNUNA on all social media platforms. On Twitter is MALCOLMNUNAA. At the back, it's Malcolm Nuna again, not Felina, by the way.
Malcolm Nuna, guys. Malcolm Nuna.
Thank you.
And he shared a story with us. Benzo is out. Chalet, all you girls, stop giving the guys pressure. You give the guy pressure. He writes on Benzo. It's a hit, and so Benzo is out. Share. Share, like you're sharing GTV stuff, share GTV breakfast. Go on Facebook, you're streaming live on there, and you can catch a repeat of the show again at 11 p.m. today, guys. And so, yeah, today is Unearthing Talent, and we've been spending our time with Malcolm Nuna. He's such a vibe, guys. And so go out, look for Benzo, and share. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy Benzo, like for your Wicked Wednesday. So Wicked Wednesday with hashtag Benzo, guys. Bye.